Okay, so got a few more minutes here, and I made this note that we are going to talk about cats and maybe just pets in general. What are your initial thoughts?
All right. Yeah, my thoughts are pet, and there's I guess some problems I see with this, but pet ownership in general is a bad thing to do. I'd say it's an immoral action to purchase an animal
Hmm.
for your pleasure. Um, because people like to say, "Oh, look how cute my dog is," you know,
Hmm.
um, but it's not a necessity. Um, and then this perpetuates animals being bred into existence for the sole purpose of being, I guess, cute, cute animals to look at for humans.
Hmm.
Um, I guess I would say it would be ideal to eliminate pet ownership in a sense because then these animals aren't being bred into existence and we have all this overpopulation of cats and dogs and whatnot. Um,
Hmm.
but there are like the cases where like for like your mental health where like you have a dog that is like allowing you to function uh, normally in society. Um, so that's kind of a tricky thing that I'm at, and I guess I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Yeah, yeah. Having a dog to function is normal. Can you explain that a little further?
Yeah, so like I'm not really too familiar with like some sort of like mental illness where like a companion animal would help. Um,
Yeah.
but in that case, like if you are unable to like if you're not like mentally stable uh, or you're like suicidal or depressed and like
Mm.
having an animal
Yeah.
curbs those is it still like immoral to purchase an animal in that case?
Yeah, I think so, but I
Mm-hmm.
don't have a strong stance against it necessarily. But so I have a theory, and I want to point out that this is just a random theory. And if I'm wrong, I mean no offense by it to anybody that is in favor of moral support animals.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think in the same sense that people might if they use screens too much, they're on social media and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
especially like kids, they might not socialize well. And therefore, they feel like what makes them happy is having this place where they can find this group of people that they can chat with on the internet. I think the same thing, I have an assumption that something like a companion animal, if it makes you have this living thing that can make you feel happy, you are less likely to go out and learn how to socialize and make friends or whatever because you have this thing with you. Where if that was removed from you and we are social creatures, it would be a bummer if that person just had their brain gave them no ability to go socialize, so they killed themselves because they didn't have this pet. But I think maybe 9 times out of 10, or some number out of some number of people, if their animal was removed from them, they would go, I have to go learn how to socialize, and they'd go do so. So that's just a random assumption I have. But if you take it to the extreme, which somebody in the comments here put something like a seeing eye dog, something where it
Mm-hmm.
is almost directly necessary. It took me the longest to get to figure this one out as far as my own stance. I think humans should take care of humans. If somebody is blind and they don't want to figure out how to walk with like a stick, and they truly need help in that regard, I think humans should be hired to take care of humans.
Oh,
I could be wrong, but I don't think a dog should be forced. I think it's worse to be an animal that has a job like that than to just be a random animal that has a good owner.
yeah. Actually, I haven't heard that before, and I'd say I agree with you on that. That humans should like consent to help other humans who are in need,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't say, okay, you've been bred to be eyes for this person." But yeah,
Hmm.
that's wrong for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. It's tricky with some cases where it seems so beneficial, where there's breeds of dogs that are like canine cops, and so
Mm-hmm.
they smell out drugs and stuff like that. I don't think dogs should be forced to do that for us. But if there are a large amount of maybe criminal activity, well, I actually think drugs should be legal, so I guess I don't care about that. But if dogs can smell like human remains and find where like somebody was kidnapped and killed and buried in the woods, um, I'm kind of nervous about removing that kind of thing. I guess this is where I don't think of myself as a consequentialist. But since Jeremy here in the comments is consequentialist, I'll point out that if we see the outcomes are there's severely good consequences, there might be some cases where I would be more reluctant to get rid of it. But in almost all cases, I just think animals should be separate from humans. And we do our thing and they do theirs. We shouldn't be breeding animals to look a certain way and therefore they can't breathe well and all these different things. Somebody in the comments said, I think it's fine to befriend an animal. Let me know your thoughts on this. I tried to I tried to come up with a way of the closest thing to pet ownership that I thought was morally acceptable. And this is what I came up with. If somebody goes into the woods and let's say they can legally do this, they can build a cabin out in the woods and they have a door frame, but no door. And then this like wild dog comes up to them, licks them, seems to like them. They play around. The dog's not forced to do anything. The owner of the house goes into the house. The dog comes in, but there's no door, so it always can leave. It's never forced. And the dog lays on the bed or by this person because it just loves this person. And then the next day they hang out or whatever. This is one of the only cases I could view something that would look like pet ownership or at least like action with an animal where the animal at no point is ever trained, broken down, fenced in, leashed, any of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's definitely acceptable. Like making friends with an animal that you come across or, you're not capturing them and saying, okay, you're living in my house with me now. Mm-hmm. It's that you can be wherever you want to be. And if you like hanging out with me, then sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tried to imagine one where it was the same thing, but it's a horse. And I don't know if I feel like, so I definitely don't think a horse should be broken down or anything. But if like you're just hanging out with it and then you hop on its back and it doesn't try to buck you off and it's just riding around with you, I'm more torn on this than the playing with the dog thing because I don't know if you should get on top of an animal. But I definitely don't think you should be able to have like a saddle or fence in or train it to not be wild, which is why any cases of any domesticated animals we think of, there would never be a wild version because any in the wild would just get the hell away from you. So,
right.
Yeah. Which is probably good because it turns out that fencing in animals gives us a crap ton of diseases and issues that we shouldn't want.
Right.
So,
yeah. Let's keep the animals out of the fences, not capture them.
Yep. We probably need to do more fencing, but in a not fenced in way where I think we could figure out better ways to keep animals out of our streets. I don't know on the East Coast if you guys have a lot of roadkill, but here in Oregon, there's a lot of forest area. And so I see skunks and raccoons and deer hit all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. There's lots of deer and groundhogs, raccoons here as well.
Yeah, it'd be cool if we figured out ways to fence them in because it's obviously good to have a lot of nature that we like leave to nature where we don't build houses there and whatnot. But if we just allow them to come near our cars and they don't even know what our cars are because they can't conceive of it, it just does not seem fair.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think I got to hop off here, but that was a great talk, and I could go on and on about a bunch of topics. So, I'm gonna go back through because there was a few points where we were talking where I think we both were all like, okay, we need to think about this a little further. So I'll make some notes on some things to bring up next time we chat. But yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
Where I'll put a link in the description for where people can find your channel, and anybody watching should go like his channel. Are you planning on doing more content soon? Because you have really great content, but it seems like you took a long break.
Yeah, I'm planning on doing more stuff for sure. I was just in the process of moving, and then I got sick, so had to take a little pause. But
Gotcha.
I'll
Are
be
you going to
putting
do
some more
more
stuff
of the
up.
talks? Like I saw your most recent video is you talking with some guy in a park, maybe about veganism. Are you going to do more of those?
Yeah, yeah, I really like the idea of that stuff. Because also I like making the videos. Like I did the what is veganism type thing, and maybe that'll
Hmm.
reach some non-vegan. Um, but I really like the idea of like directly talking to a non-vegan,
Yeah.
and it's not just getting like filtered through the internet. It's like you and me. You aren't vegan. Let's talk right here, right now. Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's cool. Yeah.
I think the best change that happens in the world, whether it's veganism or politics or morals or whatever, the best thing in life is conversations, being able to share ideas and to honestly hear ideas and be open to them. In person is the best, but the next best thing is something like this where we can see each other and we can hear each other. I talk to non-vegans all the time, probably vegans more often, but I can try to, if you want to do more talks like this, but where on your channel you're talking to non-vegans, I could send some people your way.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, real quick, before we hop off here, Jerem says domesticated animals tend to live longer and with more net positive lives. Do you factor that in when you compare the idea of like let's say a dog could be rewilded and you could put like some pet husky or something back in the wild, but then its chances of surviving or living a long life are cut in half. Do you think that's better for it to live a natural life, not owned, but have a less of a positive life and less of a long life?
Yeah, I would say that's better to in general to not have your actions dictated by anyone else. Because we could go to like some like more indigenous tribes and say, okay, we're going to put this fence around your place. We're going to make some rules here, but you're going to live longer and not die of disease. Um,
Yeah.
that's not right either.
I think we have similar minds because that is the example I came up with when I was talking to somebody about that topic. Is I think it was that exact thing. It was you find a tribe in the rainforest or something, and they're doing their thing. They enjoy it, but they die way younger ages and so on and so forth. And you can honestly just take one. You can even take it to more of an extreme. You can just say, I'm going to take one of you humans and make you a pet. You're going to live at my house and you're like a slave of sorts, but I'm going to treat you really well. You're going to be I'll treat you just like I would treat a dog that I love. You will get the nicest bed, but you have to stay in here while I'm at work. You, when it's time for exercise, I'll take you out to go for a walk, but you don't get to choose when you go for a walk. And you're going to live twice as long as you would have if I left you with your parents in the tribe. And I think that's what it comes down to with my mind that goes down to every sentient being should at least have the opportunity to attempt to live the lives they want and not be forced into another life.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Good point to end it. Great talk. Let's keep in touch.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Carson.
Yep. Take care.
Bye.